Hey guys, Merrick here. I want to talk to you guys about a book I just read. It's actually a series of books, but if you kind of combine it, it's like one novel. It's The Exodus of Evil by James Flynn. James Flynn is an author friend of mine. I interviewed him on my podcast, and I enjoyed this series, but I got to tell you, it has some disclaimers. So when I first met James through just networking a little bit and getting to know him, Exodus of Evil sounded like a science fiction novel because it's about space travel. It's about a generation ship that's going to fly in space and to colonize a planet 50,000 years in the future, which is really odd. It's a great, odd concept set in a dystopian future. And yet, if I had to say this, it's more of a horror story and political kind of commentator on our society in a sci-fi setting. So if you read this book and you're not a fan of horror, or if you're easily offended, this is probably not the right book for you because it really is a shocker, especially the first book. It has some gory scenes, but when you're dealing with sadistic evil people, it is to be expected. So I've noticed too that when you go to the third book, you get much better reviews because you really have to read this as the whole story. It's book 1, 2, and 3 of Exodus of Evil. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I don't want to give any spoilers away, but James sets a very dark tone of the future, of a very future where you kind of where corporations have taken over and basically left the common man in a state of poverty and fighting against each other and all kinds of evil. It's a very believable story. It's a actually as today it makes for sense that this could be the near future. Um, he writes some graphic scenes. So there are some just graphic scenes, but I think it adds to the shock of the story. And there's really three main elements to it. It is the sci-fi part of the whole concept. That there's a generation ship taking off. To deep space with thousands of people on board. The spaceship is over 10 miles wide and it has its own ecosystem inside. So that's really kind of cool to wrap your mind around that and imagine the kind of people that would get on a ship to go way off into the new world and be stuck there. They couldn't come back. They'd have to be colonizing a new planet. So it would be crazy. You have to start a new world, a new civilization. But it also offers the possibility that the darker, manipulative side of people could come out and with no more law, constitution, that all bets would be off in space. Somebody would come to power, and if it's not a good person who's hurt the people, it could be very bad. So it's very dark. Then it comes in book 2 and 3. It shifts to kind of a mystery, and it gets you into the story, wanting to know what has happened to the ship, the conservation, and has a main character. I'd say is David Kingston, and he is investigating kind of like what happened. And then you also have a character who is I was going to say the main other character that has kind of working against that is really the corporate greedy person is what is his name? How do I say his name? It is ah, Tringley. It is I forgot his first name. Is it Harold Tringley? Anyways, he's the corporate owner of the conservation who has his father send it out into space. And now that there's shrouded in mystery, they're wondering what happened to the ship. It's all kinds of crazy little things. It does add for an exciting read. I enjoyed it. It kind of got me out of reality a little bit, which I liked because the shock and horror of the situation makes for a good break from reality a little bit, takes you out of that. Um, I found the ending a little surprising because of how dark the story was, and I liked the ending. I don't want to give away any details. I'll just say that if you're a faint of heart or prudish, I would stay away from this book because it has depictions of animal cruelty, castration, torture, all kinds of tough stuff here. But overall, it was a good book. The reason why it was dark like that was because of the story that he tells. I enjoyed it. Um, it's just funny listening to reading some of the reviews that people have on the first book. So I would say if you know what you're getting into, it's a great read. And the whole story is pretty quick, but you can read the full 3 books, one after another, and it kept my attention through the whole book. And yeah, it was a good break from reality. I give it 4 stars. Check it out if you like horror. James Flynn is your man. He likes pushing the envelope on the gore and some plot twists. It makes you think about society after you read this book. You makes you really think, like, is that where we're heading in society, where dark, sadistic forces could come in and take over? So I thoroughly enjoyed the book, although at first I was a little shocked myself at the graphic nature of the gore. But other than that, once I got into the story and the mystery of what happens to the conservation, and then there's also some other intrigue when you get into who is this character, the dark character, Dolph. What's his name? Dolph. I can't remember his name, but the villain type character, the major character is Dolph. God, what is his name? Dolph. I just forgot about this for a second. Anyways, it's pretty good. It's a good Dolph Veal is his name. Anyways, that's the villain character. I don't want to spoil it for you, but there's other villains in the story, and basically, it's a horror book based in a sci-fi situation. So if you like a little shocker, a little gore, a little something to just shock you a little bit, it's a good one. I enjoyed it. It was something out of my wheelhouse. So just to be honest with you, I'm a sci-fi fantasy kind of guy, not so much horror. I went and saw Aliens and was scared. So, but it was good. So James, thanks for letting me read this book. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And if you like horror and you're not afraid of gore, go check out Exodus of Evil, and this is a 3 book set, and you can also get the first book for free. So really cool. And I'm post a review about this book on my blog. So if you want to check out AmericanHulrick.com, go check out the review I have in the blog, and I have links to the book where you can check it out. If you're a fan of Stephen King and things like that, I think you'll enjoy this book. So check out Exodus of Evil by James Flynn. All right. I hope that made some sense. And if you're a little of the faint of heart, don't like gore, a little too graphic stuff, you might pass on this one. But other than that, I think you'll enjoy the book, Exodus of Evil. All right. Well, that's a wrap on that review of James Flynn, Exodus of Evil. Hope you enjoy it. Take care.